Welcome to Common Pitfalls. Today we're going to talk about instructors that when they're teaching a lesson are using no transitions or lousy transitions. And this can be a real detriment to the client and their progress. So what I mean is the instructor will go through and they'll teach an exercise and then they say something like, all right, take a break. And the client just collapses on the mat. They're not cueing them out of the exercise or how to relax out of it or finish it. And then there's no cueing between that and the next exercise. So eventually what we want this to look like is that you go from one exercise to the completion and it's like it never really finishes and you just link it with your cues to the next exercise. Now, if the client needs a break, this is completely all right and encouraged, especially for clients that are new or maybe they're atrophied and they need a little break and stuff. But you still want to use your verbal cues to explain to them how to get out of the exercise properly and what you want them to do between exercises. Now, when you're teaching a private lesson, this is very important and can really help the client to progress because there's less lag time, they're going to get through more exercises, and they're not ever getting that off mode where they just collapse and just let go of everything and there's no control, which again is what Joe Pilates was looking for, that control of the body. In a class, it becomes really critical. And again, our vision for you is that you are flexible enough a teacher that you can teach awesome privates and amazing classes, and you're really versatile. And this is one of the things that sets good classes apart from excellent classes, is that the transitions are just beautiful and seamless. And this technique can actually really help when you're teaching classes because it helps the class stay unified and together, and it's that little, I don't know how to call it, kind of quality that people look at a good class and like, that's a good class. It just gels. It's also a really great technique if you've got clients that are bunny trailing or, trying to do their own thing, or talkers, or, this, that, and the other. It keeps them focused on what you want them to focus on, and they don't have this downtime to where they can start doing their own thing and distracting the class and derailing your class. So it's a very helpful class management tool. All right, so how do you create good transitions? This is kind of a quick and dirty discussion, but I want you to think about what exactly you want them to do to get from one exercise to the next exercise. So this requires that you actually know what the next exercise is going to be. And again, this is one of the main reasons that we've given you lesson plans so that it's much easier as you're teaching to look up, that's the next exercise. And then all you have to do is in your brain start thinking about, okay, now, what do I have to do to get from point A to point B? We have actually even listed suggested spring changes on there. So that's already listed for you so you can see it. There might be some equipment set up, like the foot bar needs to be lowered or the box needs to be put on. You might need a sticky for a certain exercise. If they're changing body position between the exercises, that you want to think about that. And basically you're cueing them as if they're doing another exercise to go through all of those things. The spring changes, the equipment setup, and the body position change. So you're using the same cueing techniques as if you're doing an exercise, but the exercise is to get from one exercise to the other exercise. And I highly recommend that you watch the videos that we've put together where I'm teaching Larry the different exercises from the lesson plans, because I give you tips on how to do transitions effectively from one exercise to another. And of course, those are the lesson plans that you're working with, so it's exactly the transitions you need. And some transitions are kind of tricky. It's like, oh, this doesn't even go together with this. But I've put exercises together for the most part that have as little of funky transition as possible, meaning that you're not bouncing all over the studio doing different things. So I want you to be really cognizant of the transitions, and is your habit to just kind of drop everything and let them just flop like dead fish in between? Are they going off and doing their own thing? And how are you managing your class or your private and keeping it cohesive between exercises?